The ingredients that we're going to need for the capirotada are 1 loaf of stale, preferably French bread. This has been out for about a day and a half. I made this the other day and I just let it sit overnight uncovered and it gets stale. And you need that so that the bread can absorb the liquid. You need 5 cups of water. You need 1 piloncillo, which is brown sugar. If you don't have this, you can just get regular brown sugar, dark brown sugar. You need 1 cup of raisins. You need 1.25 cups of pecans, chopped pecans. You need about 1.25 cups of cheddar cheese. I have 3 sticks of cinnamon. I have some anise seed and 6 cloves, whole cloves. And then I have the butter, which we're going to put onto the French bread and put it in the oven. We are going to need a container like this. If you don't have this, you can use whatever you have. This is to build the bread pudding, and we are going to put our bread on this cookie sheet and go in the oven. The first thing that we want to do, put the water into your pot that you have on the stove. You want to get your brown sugar and put it in there so that it could start dissolving. You also want to put your spices in at this time. And we're going to bring this up to a boil. Wait till this dissolves and I will be back. Okay, I did add another half of a piloncillo in here, which is equivalent to about 1/2 cup of brown sugar, if that's what you're going to use. So we'll continue with that. Okay, we're going to start putting some butter on the bread, and we are going to pop it in the oven at a 375-degree oven until it's toasted. You also want to rotate it or give it a turn so that it toasts on both sides. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to do this, and I will be back. Okay, this is the syrup. I just brought it to the boil. I'm going to let this, turn it down and let this simmer for about 15 minutes. And we still have the toast in the oven. It's just about ready. I just flipped it. We'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, I took the syrup off the stove and we are going to strain it, okay? I have the same container that I had the water in and a strainer. And we're just going to strain it and let it cool off because it is extremely hot, so be very careful. Okay, now that I have the liquid, the syrup, I am going to add my vanilla here. And I add about 1.5 teaspoons. You know, you use as much as you like, or if you don't like it, don't put it in. We're going to get this, we're going to start to assemble our pudding. And I have my container. We're going to assemble the capirotada now. And what I do is I get my bread. As you can see, it's very, very toasted, okay? And that's what you want because that's what's going to help absorb the syrup and it doesn't get all mushy, okay? So we're just going to line these up. They're still kind of hot. And then I just put some here on the sides. Basically the bottom layer is just going to look like that. As long as it's flat, you get your raisins and you just sprinkle them all on top of the bread. You put however many you want. Okay, now I'm going to take the pecans and I'm going to do the same thing. Now I love pecans, so I tend to put a little bit more than, and then you take your layer of cheese. Okay, so at this point it looks just like that. Okay, now we take our syrup and you can pour it in here or you can just scoop it in here with the scooper like this, whatever you're more comfortable with. As long as you get every single piece of bread. Okay, and then you do the next layer and repeat. Same thing over and over. Okay, the last layer. Okay, this is the last layer that we're going to top off. Just go slow. Let all this bread absorb the liquid. And I already have my oven preheating to 325. It's going to go into the oven for 30 minutes covered with some aluminum foil, and I have some extra syrup because I'm going to make something else today. All right, guys, I'm going to cover this up and we'll be back. Okay, guys, it's been in the oven for 30 minutes covered. I just uncovered it and I check it to make sure that it's not getting too dry. And that's why I keep the reserve liquid. And I do believe that it needs a little bit more liquid because we're going to leave it about another 20 minutes uncovered, and I don't want it to get too dry. Okay, that's going to be it. Let me see if I can show you what it looks like. Okay, this is the capirotada after it's done. And as you can see here on the side, it has soaked up all the liquid. I did add a little bit more just because I didn't want it to get dry, and I'm going to let it sit here and cool for a while before we cut into it so you can see the layers. So I'll be back in a little bit. Up close what it looks like. See how it drank up the liquid? Guys, the capirotada's out of the oven. It was in the oven for 30 minutes covered, and then I uncovered it 30 minutes, and then of course I added some more of the syrup in between, and I cut a piece so y'all could see what it looks like, and you can see the layers and how saturated, but yet they're not smushy, they're not all wet and mushy. It still has a lot of texture with the raisins and the pecans. It is absolutely delicious. I've already had some. And I will post up the recipe in the description bar, so please take a look there. Okay, guys, that's going to conclude the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Give us a big old thumbs up if you did. Okay, guys, see y'all later. Bye.